What if I told you that dying with millions in the bank wasn't necessarily a win, but a missed opportunity? Most people spend their whole life saving, but the book, Die with Zero, flips that mindset completely. It's not about how much you leave behind, it's about how you fully live while you're here. And guess what? Retirement income planning, when done right, can actually help you do more living, not less. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how the core ideas in the book, Die with Zero, pair perfectly with safe money strategies like annuities and dividend-paying whole life insurance, so you can enjoy your money and create a legacy all on your terms. If it's your first time here, I'm Dr. Amanda. Welcome to the Retirement Income School. This is your place to get financial education so that you can protect your wealth and create guaranteed income so you can retire financially relaxed. In this lesson, let's dive into the book Die with Zero by Bill Perkins. The subtitle is Getting All You Can from Your Money and Your Life. And I'm going to focus this book review on the retirement plan that prioritizes living now. So I'm going to highlight the 7 key principles that apply to safe money solutions, how to enjoy your money more, and how to reframe your legacy plan, because these are the things that really stood out to me in this book as I was reading them and thinking about how to apply them to your retirement plan and what would really matter to you in terms of the key takeaways from this book. If you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend that you read it. It's a great listen on Audible or Spotify. You could also get the paperback version. I like to underline as I read, and I really digest things differently when I listen and when I read. Whatever floats your boat, be sure to get it. It's a must read. The foundation of this whole book really aligns with this first key principle, which is invest in memory dividends. Bill Perkins says your memories are the most valuable assets you have. Invest in them. So it really dives into how life experiences generate emotional ROI, or return on investment, and that the earlier you create these memories, the longer they quote unquote pay. So you're going to get an emotional ROI paid out in dividends from stacking these memories time and time again in your mind, showing pictures, looking at pictures, hanging pictures up, talking about the experiences you had, create this dividend experience that create more and more joy over time. So it's not only the experience you actually had, it's that over time you create this memory dividend. And he really emphasizes not to delay joy, spend on what matters now. So when we apply this to safe money strategies, you want to consider how you can create a protected income stream to support memorable experiences, not just pay your bills. You've heard me in the past talk about the income floor. And the income floor is making sure that you have all of your monthly needs met through things like Social Security, pension, annuities, whole life insurance. Could also be CDs, bond ladders, things like that. Creating that monthly cash flow to make sure that your essentials are met. Now we want to add on a joy factor. So how much travel do you want to do? How much time do you want to spend with your family? Do you want to invest in different hobbies? One of the key takeaways in this entire book is that Bill is urging you to enjoy experiences now and not put them off until a later date. So when we think about safe money strategies, we want to apply this principle and think, how can I create protected income streams to support memorable experiences and not just pay my bills? So we want to add to the income floor and make sure that we have a budget for joy. Pay attention to how much joy you get when you're healthy and your quality of life is high, versus think down the road when you're 80 and 90 in retirement, you're probably not going to have as much energy to go do all those fun things. So you want to make sure that you front load some safe money solutions into your retirement plan so that you can enjoy the money while you still have health. And he really talks about doing this even way earlier in your 30s, 40s, 50s. And we're going to get into that in upcoming ideas that he talks about. So just think here, invest in memory dividends. This next principle really ties in well with memory dividends and how they're going to change over your life course based on your age. So number 2 is time bucket your life. And he says, there is no point in earning more if you're just going to spend less time living. Ooh, that is really powerful. I'm going to say that again. There's no point in earning more if you're just going to spend less time living. I really want you to reflect here. Are you a person who works to save, and you're always thinking, I'm saving for retirement, but you're not enjoying your now? Does that make sense? He's very anti doing this. He says it's important to create memory dividends in the now, let them stack as you age, and then those memory dividends are actually going to keep you healthy longer because you have them to draw upon as you age. And you want to do this in a time bucket method. So what that means is you want to think about your time bucket in your 60s, your 70s, your 80s, and think about how when you are those ages, everything changes. So that era of your 60s, you probably have the most energy. Those are more your go-go years where you want to go and every day is a weekend and you want to have money allocated to be able to play and do more physical activities during that time. During your 70s, it might be more that you are slowing down a little bit. So those might be the slow go years. And in your 80s, you might be moving into your no-go years where life is just a little quieter. You're staying home a lot more. You're probably resting more. And you are even potentially moving into that long-term care phase of your life. So he recommends that you map out experiences by life stages. He says to do this starting at whatever age you are, so 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. I'm putting here 60s, 70s, and 80s for you to think about retirement era. I'll be 48 in a couple of weeks, so I'm thinking about my next decade bucket being my 50s. What do I want to experience in my 50s that won't feel as good to experience in my 60s, 70s, or 80s? And so I want to start time bucketing for my 50s, so start wherever you're at. And when you're doing this, you want to align your spending with your energy, your health, and your inspirations. So what are the things that you're going to enjoy in your 40s, your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond differently? What's your energy level going to be then? Of course, you can't predict that entirely, but do your best. And what do you perceive being the best way to spend your time in those buckets by the decades? And then think about retirement not being a single phase, it's a sequence of time in these time buckets of your life. In terms of applying this to a safe money strategy, it's important to think about how to use guaranteed lifetime income and flexible planning to fund each decade's unique bucket list. So again, like we said, in retirement research, they show that there's a smile-like way of spending money during retirement. So at first, when you retire, you're up at the tip of the smile and you're spending the most because every day is like vacation. You're playing, you're traveling, you're having fun. And then it goes down for a while when you go into those slow go years. And then the expenses might increase again when you're in the long-term care or needing a lot more medical assistance potentially. And that era of your life, you're going to need more health care. So there's a smile-like curve to the amount of income you're going to need. So plan for that. Do you need to have an annuity ladder or a bond ladder? Do you need to make sure you have long-term care insurance? Or perhaps you draw upon the cash value in your whole life insurance policy. For some, you might take money out of equities in the earlier phase of retirement and then sit on them, let grow, and then draw on them again when you are in the later phase of your life and you need more income. So you want to plan for this and you want to think about how to time bucket your life and apply safe money strategies so that you know you're always cared for financially. Principle number 3 is don't over save. He says, if you die with money left over, you've failed at maximizing your life experience. Woo, this one will probably cause you a little bit of second thought because when we think about dying with zero, it tends to make people worried and freaked out. And at the end, I'll talk about the overarching theory here, not being to be destitute at the time you die and not leave a legacy. We're going to cover inheritances and his reframe on thinking about them. But really the concept here is don't be one of those people who is in this fear-based living style where it leads to underliving. So oversaving is fear-based and leads to underliving. You don't experience your life fully because you're always squirreling away the nuts for later, and later might never come. And your health is not going to increase over your life course, most likely. It's going to decrease. So you want to spend your money and enjoy life instead of always worrying about the future and never having enough. This is really a scarcity mindset problem. I see so many people do this. I work with people who have different levels of assets and sometimes people who have assets in the multi-millions who don't enjoy life because they're thinking about the future and how someday they'll retire and do these fun things. But then I also have people coming to me who are in their 50s and 60s whose health is declining and they're going, oh wow, I really need to enjoy life now because I don't know what the future holds. So just be conscious of if you're one of these people who tends to oversave and not live life. Bill says that many retirees die with much more than they need and that those unused dollars could have created joy. And we really want our money to be joyful. What is the point of living if we don't enjoy it? I have boards in my office that I always write notes on, and one of them says, how would you enjoy the future if you don't enjoy the now? And this is a philosophy that's really interesting. It's actually a law of attraction philosophy, but it talks about how you can't have a happy ending to a miserable journey. And I think sometimes people who are on the journey of saving and saving and saving and are worried about spending are having a pretty miserable journey. So why would you think you're going to have a happy ending to a miserable journey? Why would you think you're going to enjoy life later if you can't enjoy it now? So enjoy it now. Spend some of your money. And one way, especially as you're moving into the retirement era of your life, to use a safe money strategy is annuities. Annuities are, I think, a really huge gift to peace of mind because they turn your assets into predictable lifetime income that you can never outlive. So you always know you have that paycheck. For me, I fund my annuities knowing that I want a travel budget. I want a big travel budget. And so I want to make sure that part of that income stream for me of my income floor includes joy, fun, playfulness, traveling, doing all the fun things that I want to do. And so this is one way for you to think about how can I turn some of my assets into a lifetime stream of income for joy, not just for the essentials. Now, I know I've been talking about annuities a lot, and the reason is because they let you spend with confidence because you know the amount that you have and you can plan for it because it's contractual. You know the exact amount you're going to get. Very different from, let's say, equities where there's market volatility and some years you might have to decide to withdraw less because there's a downturn and you don't want to diminish your portfolio. Annuities don't have that problem. And I would hate for that to happen to you when you're moving into that really fun go-go phase of retirement and you end up like this guy here who's holding his head in his hands and looking at this small pile of money going, uh-oh, is it going to last long enough? We don't want that. So we want to make sure that we have safety, certainty, and guarantees, eliminate the volatility so you know that you can have fun and not have to worry about continuing to save while you're in retirement. Now you get to go into the spending phase of your life. And arguably, Bill Perkins says you should do that even far before the retirement phase because that's when you have a higher quality of health and well-being and you have more energy to do all the fun things. Number 4, and this one really caused me to change my thinking and reframe all the ways I was thinking about inheritances. So it's give money to your kids earlier. He says the best time to give your kids money is when they're building a life, not after they've built one. Now, this is fascinating to me because I think most people think, well, what am I going to leave to my kids? I want to leave a whole bunch to my kids and I want them to feel like I cared about them and I want to leave this big inheritance. And in the book, he talks about how when he shares with others this philosophy of dying with zero, they always say, well, what about the kids? And he's not anywhere in this book saying, don't leave your kids anything. He's saying front load when they're younger so that they can enjoy it. And then you can actually help them more. Because here's this example. Let's say you give $50K to your kids at age 35. This is so much more valuable potentially for them than giving them $500K when they're 65. And the reason for that is because when they're 35, they probably need the money money more. They're just getting started in their careers and in their families, potentially buying a house. And so that money is really a valuable asset and stepping stone for them. Whereas when they're at 65, when you pass away, most likely they're going to be in their 60s, they've already made it. And now actually you're potentially giving them a high tax burden right when they need it the least. And so if you think about a 50K gift at age 35 being much more than 500K at 65, rethink your legacy strategy. What if you help them when they're buying a home, raising kids, starting a business? And think about legacy not just about being when you leave, it's about when you give it. And what kind of legacy does that help them build? And so this, for me, has really restructured my planning. I'm actually setting up become your own bank policies for each of my kids and teaching them how to abide by the principles of the IBC, infinite banking concept, because that's what I do. When I use life insurance for myself and other people, I help you design policies that are specifically designed for high cash value so that you can be your own bank and use it while you're alive. And then you generate this large pool of money so that you can do things like pay for college, buy a house, buy a car, banking on yourself. So that's one way that it's really changed. And I'm so excited. I actually have a weekly Zoom set up with my kids so that I can teach them these philosophies very specifically and start giving them money over the next 10 years while they're in their 20s and 30s instead of when I'm dead and they won't need the money anymore. And so that's just one way that you can apply this principle. In terms of thinking about a safe money strategy, consider how you can use life insurance or planned gifting strategies to give meaningfully during your lifetime. And I really like this because it also helps you think about how much more fun it is to give them the money and you get to see it. When you're dead and gone and they get this huge inheritance, you don't even get to have the joy of watching them flourish from the use of that money. And so this principle, give money to your kids early, really bent my thinking around inheritances. And in this concept of dying with zero, let's say there are certain people who are going to draw down all their assets by the end of their life and they're going to really die with close to zero. Maybe they don't leave anything to their kids. That's not really what he's saying. Again, he's saying give it to them while they're alive. But let's say you don't have kids or you don't want to leave your kids any money. That's okay. That's your right. Or let's say that you want to give them money while you're alive and you want to leave a large inheritance because maybe you have a net worth in the multi-millions. We'll also look at life insurance because this is a way to pass money to your heirs, tax advantaged. Death benefits can be tax-free. They avoid probate. And it's a really powerful way for pennies on the dollar to give your kids an inflated inheritance, much more than you could ever just hand them $10. When you set this up when they're younger, those policies can grow to huge. I have one client right now that has $7 million inheritance set up for her child when she passes based on the insurance policy that we set up for her. And that's going to grow over time. She's funding it over time. She's using it to become her own bank. She uses it for real estate investment, and it's a powerful inheritance strategy. So don't devalue life insurance if you don't actually know what you're talking about when you're thinking about life insurance. Some people have a very negative concept of life insurance, and it's probably just because you've been educated incorrectly and you need to unlearn some things. So be sure to talk to me if that's where you're at. Now, this next one, number 5, use life insurance to fund legacy, is what I was just talking about. So this ties really well to give money to your kids earlier. So I'm using life insurance policies at a young age for my children to give them money earlier and set them up with their own banking system. And this one, number 5, use life insurance to fund legacy, is talking about passing on the money to your heirs with permanent life insurance. That's a very tax efficient wealth transfer, and it gives peace of mind for your spending years. So what is meant here, he says, life insurance is a great way to ensure you die with zero while still leaving something behind. So the power of life insurance is that you spend your savings without guilt, you let your policy handle the legacy, and you guarantee your heirs receive something without needing to hoard assets. So again, like I said, you can have a large life insurance policy that's not funded with even close to the same amount that they will get in the death benefit that you put into that policy. So there's an exponential inheritance that's tax advantage when you use life insurance to fund a legacy. And I know I've covered this one many times, but he covers it well in the book too. He talks about life insurance and annuities. Number 6 is annuities give you permission to spend. So he says annuities help eliminate the fear of running out so you can actually enjoy your money. There are a lot of studies to show that people with pensions and annuities retire much happier, that they live much more stress-free lives during retirement when they have that guaranteed lifetime income coming in. And so it gives you this emotional freedom to spend and enjoy and play because you know how much you have and you know it's never going to run out. This means that you'll be more likely to spend because you know that your basics are covered. And then, if you're like me, you're also going to create an annuity for travel and play. So you'll have the essentials met plus the travel and play met. And that lifetime income is really this ultimate safety net that lets you sleep well at night. So the safe money strategy here, of course, purchase a lifetime income fixed index annuity and give yourself permission to enjoy the ride. For me, being a person who has a past of financial struggle, there is nothing better than knowing that I have a monthly large amount of money coming in for myself, that I've set myself up that way so that when I choose to retire, if I do, maybe I won't, maybe I'll work forever, but I will still know that I have a guaranteed lifetime income stream. And that gives me such peace of mind because I know what it feels like to lay in bed at night worried about what you're going to do to feed yourself or your kids. That's a terrifying feeling. And I don't want anyone to have that in their retirement era life. These are supposed to be our golden years and the years that we have fun. So start playing with annuities as a way to set yourself up to have your go-go years be full of joy and fun and prosperity instead of fear and doubt and uncertainty. And don't be one of those people that hears that annuities are negative without doing research. Make sure that you get educated. You can do this through your own learning. You can talk to me. I'll keep, of course, bringing lessons here, talking about the power of annuities and whole life insurance and how you can use them to create peace of mind in your retirement years. But really consider how you setting up a personalized pension through owning an annuity can be a powerful way for you to really enjoy retirement. Number 7, this one is critical. He says, health decline is real. You can't time travel. You can't buy health. You can't rewind life. Oh, that one really hits me because my dad passed away this year and his quality of life was so bad. He was in a lot of pain, and it was really hard to watch him have a mind where he wanted to do so many things. He really wanted to play with his grandkids and hang out with me and travel and explore the world, and he literally couldn't. His knees were falling apart, and he had health conditions that caused him to not be able to fly, and he didn't really get to enjoy that era of his life that he had spent so many decades building. He was finally mortgage free and had a successful business with my mom, and they couldn't enjoy it because of his health. And so this one really struck me. In the book, Bill Perkins dives deep into this heavily, and I think it's critical, and it's important to know now, no matter what age you are, that your health is a commodity that is not replaceable. So your healthiest retirement years are your early ones. Don't wait until you're 80 to start living, and time is your most valuable asset, not money. And we could say here, health is your most valuable asset, not money. And to me, those two are very equated. Quality of life is critical as you age and move into retirement. If you don't have your health, you can't enjoy your money. You end up spending your money on medical bills, and you end up spending your money trying to feel good so that you can enjoy retirement. So there are 2 important key takeaways here for safe money strategies. Front load your fun. Start having fun now. Don't always oversave. Make sure you have a budget for playfulness. Make sure that you're thinking about the now and not always just living for the future. Enjoy your now. And really consider how safe money strategies protect your income so you can live while you're healthy. And these really tie together. If you don't have health, you can't enjoy your life. If you don't have wealth, it's a little harder to enjoy your health. Not completely, because you can have fun for free and you can do things if you have health that you wouldn't be able to do if you didn't have it. So this one is critical. If you're not taking good care of yourself right now, start today. I urge you to start today, because quality of life is one of those sneaky little snowball effects that catches up with you. And you just start to feel a little worse, and then it's 10 years down the road and you're not able to do all the things that you think you wanted to do in retirement. So pay attention to your health and don't let health decline rob you of joy in retirement. And Bill Perkins really does a great job in the book of talking about this and the importance of it. All right, I'm getting off my soapbox. My final thoughts with Die with Zero: remember to live intentionally, spend without guilt, and leave a smart, well-timed legacy. These are big themes in this book that tie beautifully to the Retirement Income School and the lessons and philosophies that I teach here. And that's because I really want you to be able to retire financially relaxed. That is bliss. That's when you can just hang out and do what you love and look back at your life and just say, oh yeah, life is good. That's what we want. And that's why I think it's critical that you read Die with Zero. Some really great ideas. And of course, you might not live by all of the philosophies in this book, but let it stretch your thinking and just think in new ways about retirement. And, your level of net worth is going to dictate the way that you use different time buckets and the inheritances you leave and things like that. But really just read this to bend your thinking about retirement and how to live in the present moment and enjoy life more and take good care of yourself so that in every era of your life you can enjoy to the fullest extent possible. And if you liked what you heard in this lesson, you're definitely going to want to set up a retirement income Q&A call with me. Just go to retirementincome.school and you'll see a button at the top of the page that says book a Q&A call. That will be you and me talking on the phone to get to know each other, and I'll find out about your goals and I'll find out how I can help you with retirement income. These calls are awesome. I've been loving the people who call. It's such a fun conversation. And then we decide if we want to move forward. And if we do, then we come up with a strategy, a plan, implement it, and monitor it to make sure that you're on track for guaranteed lifetime income. In closing, be sure to subscribe to the podcast or YouTube channel and click on the notification bell so you never miss out. And keep on coming back for more lessons from the Retirement Income School, where I'll teach you how to keep your money safe and make it last so you can enjoy retirement.
This content is for educational purposes only and is not financial, legal, or tax advice. Always consult a qualified professional before making decisions about your retirement.